But let's get into the predicted lineup. Ange's been speaking. He spoke yesterday. Yesterday, I say yesterday as in Thursday, because this will be going out on Saturday. Talking about the team news going into it and what we're dealing with. So
Richarlison has been training, and he said should be available for selection, but he hasn't had any match time. So whether he's going to be involved in the squad, I do reckon he will. But he has said, he's still lacking match fitness, but he has been training, so he's available. Obviously, Forster still away. He said he's got in that injury. And obviously the big headline absentee is Yves Bissouma, who is suspended for this game, an internal suspension from Spurs after he was caught inhaling laughing gas on video. So a bit of disciplinary there from Tottenham. Other than that, a clean bill of health.
All right, well, let's get into the predicted lineup. 4-3-3 as per usual. Big Vic back in goal, obviously, and let's hope that there's no mishaps playing out the back this time.
Yeah, that's obviously a big concern over pre-season. I don't think Leicester are going to be that high pressing, so hopefully that should suit him.
And depends how Maresca ball they're going.
Yeah, it's also true. Locke said that they're not so good at set pieces, so that should help us as well. Hopefully it's not such a busy day for Big Vic.
Yeah. Right back, Pedro Porro back in there, who I felt that was kind of like growing throughout pre-season and ended it quite well.
Yeah, and albeit I thought against Bayern he was quite badly exposed, so he's got to watch out for that. And obviously, I've been saying it, stuff at the back post with our fullbacks defending has been really bad, so he's got to watch out for that, Pedro. But we know on the ball what he provides, and I think that's going to be a large part in this game to us winning it, having players like Porro with his clever passing ability, getting the ball forward, his set pieces as well. So obviously he has to play.
Right centre-back is obviously going to be Cuti Romero, who I've predicted to be our player of the season this year. And it was just so good to see him back for those second 45 minutes against Bayern. Adds that calm to the defence, doesn't he? Ball-playing ability and obviously that aggression going into the midfield.
Yeah, and I felt like he'd never been away against Bayern. He was really good. So that's really positive going into this game. I felt like going into pre-season, maybe Dragoshin might start the season, but seeing Romero against Bayern again and how effortlessly he just slotted back into the back line, I think he's got to be starting, and he's so important to how he plays, especially with his playing out the back. It's going to be really important in this game. So, yeah, Romero, I think, comes straight back in.
Mickey van der Ven will come in at left centre-back, of course. Again, I don't think maybe he looked as strong as Romero coming in that second half. We did see a few of those recovery, lung-busting runs that we're accustomed to seeing to Van der Ven. But, obviously he comes back in.
Yeah, for sure. And we know that as long as we've got Van der Ven covering the back line, it's going to be even harder for Leicester to get in on the counter-attack and create any chances. So we know Van der Ven's speed is like a cheat code, and we're going to need him.
Left back will be Destiny Udogie, another one who only played 45 minutes against Bayern Munich, and that's all we saw of him of pre-season. But I was very happy with what I saw from Destiny as well.
Yeah, another player I think is ready to come straight back in. I thought his last 45 minutes against Bayern, he was getting forward, he was striding forward really well, he was doing his progressive carries, he was looking sharp, which after a long injury was really encouraging in his first appearance. He was looking physical, and he was looking like he can come back in. So he's had another week's training. I think he should be ready to start.
In the number 6, it will be Rodrigo Bentancur, with Bissouma being banned and Archie Gray maybe. There is a case for Archie Gray because, he's used to playing this kind of opposition, Leicester, in the Championship for last season. So it may be a good opportunity to give him his debut, but I do think Bentancur will be the one that's starting.
Yeah, just based off how good Bentancur looked when he came on and played the 6 against Bayern. Ange said in his press conference he named Bentancur, saying he came off the back of a good copper. He's been playing for Uruguay, and then he said he came off the bench against Bayern and looked really good.
In 8, there is a lot of options that you can go for. You can go for Lucas Bergvall, who's been brilliant in pre-season. You go for Archie Gray, who he says that's his favourite position. You go for Pape Matar, who has obviously had a great season for us last year. But we are going to side with the pre-season GOAT in Dejan Kulusevski. I think he has been incredible in pre-season. But having said that, I still wouldn't be surprised if he goes for a Pape Matar.
I wouldn't be surprised. I just don't think you can leave Decky out right now. I think he's riding a wave of momentum where he's playing so well. He's looking so sharp. I think it'll send out the wrong message if we leave Kulusevski out, in my opinion, because he's a player who's been here for a while, and he's a player who a lot of people have doubted can fit the system, and the fact that he's playing so well in pre-season, probably being our best player. I just can't see Ange leaving him out. There is a case, does he leave Brennan out, put him back on the right? But I don't think he wants to see Decky on the right.
Yeah, so Decky alongside Maddison, and Maddison will be coming up at his former ground, the King Power, against his former club. And like I said before, he loves being that pantomime villain. He likes riling up the fans, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do. So Bentancur, Decky and Maddison in the middle three. On the right-hand side, it will be Brennan Johnson, but you've got Wilfred Odobert waiting in the wings if he doesn't have a good showing, because Brennan Johnson, he started off pre-season well, but in the last couple of games against Bayern Munich, pretty much no-shows.
Yeah, he has to improve that. We know that in the Premier League, he got, 10 assists, and he, was quite effective. But we know in general play, he still needs to work on his general play, getting involved in all facets of the game and actually being an effective player, not just in the goal contributions. And I think Odobert might be more suited to that, so he's got to watch himself. But in this kind of game, he'll be licking his lips, thinking of the opportunities he can get to feed the strikers, and I think he could have quite an effective game here.
Up front, we are going to give a debut for Big Dom Solanke, our new number 19, given his number today, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing him playing live in the flesh. What extra is he going to add to us? As opposed to what Sonny did, potentially Richarlison did last season?
I just think more of a physical presence. I think he's a better presser. He's obviously better in the air as well. And I think when we're playing against teams in low blocks, I feel like his physicality in the centre will really benefit us. His ability to get in front of his man consistently when trying to get on the end of crosses. I think he's always on the move as well. He's one of these players who just never stops moving. And obviously, he's got a good finishing ability inside the penalty area. So I think he's going to make us a lot more effective when trying to pick players out in the centre.
I'm not even going to ask you if he's going to score this weekend. I'm just going to ask you how many.
He'll get a brace.
Brace, yeah?
Get a brace, yeah.
Hat-trick on his debut?
I wouldn't rule it out.
And on the left-hand side, we're going to go for our captain, Son Heung-min, who's he's had a bit of a mixed bag pre-season, but I think it has been positive overall, and it's going to be great to see him back on the pitch.
Yeah, and I think obviously he had a really good time in Korea against the K-League, did really well against Vissel Kobe. He scored in the open training. His finishing was as good as ever. But obviously, when we talk about him being back on the left, the questions about him still taking on his man, all that kind of stuff. But look, I'm going to give him credit where credit's due, because I've been a big doubter about Sonny going back on the left. But since April time, he definitely has looked a lot better on the left, and he ended the season looking really good against the likes of Liverpool, when I can't remember who else we played back into the season, but he was actually playing some really good stuff back out on the left-hand side after I've been an advocate of him playing more centrally to get him closer to goal. So as long as it doesn't take away from his goal scoring, which I'm worried it will, I think him being back on the left could be a very positive thing. And we all know if he gets to the byline, he can use his left foot really well. When he cuts inside as well, we know he's got amazing whip on those crosses and could even get shots on goal. So I'm quite positive with Solanke back in the centre. I'm quite positive of the impact Son can make on the left-hand side.
Do you think it's going to have a real positive impact in his game, having someone like Solanke there in the middle who he can, a proper target man?
Definitely, I think so. Somebody who can play off, who can be a bit of a backboard. He can play 1-2s off as well, which I think he has struggled with, because for all what Richarlison's good at, like, his link-up play is not the best. And I think Solanke will add that different element to it. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if you see Sonny play the ball into Solanke and make runs, to the left off him and get the 1-2, or even back inside where he can get those first-time shots off. So I think it can definitely help Sonny have that big number 9 next to him.
All right, so there you have it. That is our predicted lineup going into the first game of the season. The madness begins, people. Let's run through that lineup with you guys one more time. It's Big Vic in goal, Pedro Porro right back, Destiny Udogie left back, a centre-back pairing of Mickey van der Ven and Kuti Romero, Rodrigo Bentancur, Kulusevski and James Maddison in the middle three, with Brennan Johnson, Son Heung-min and Dom Solanke up front. Sim is going for 4-1 to Tottenham in the opener. I'm going for 3-0. After speaking to Locks, Leicester fan that we had on earlier, it's hard not to feel a lot more confident going into the game. But like I said, I want to see your score predictions in the comments section below.